leadership and strategy is probably one of the hottest things happening right now. Right? The environment as such shifted with COVID and so forth that kind of catapulted us a little faster than probably most of us were ready for. You have your key stakeholders who become very conservative in these apps, right? Yeah, because that's wise. For them, more and more startups come.
Yes.
But the problem with that is usually they're not ready. So what you see though is that you guys are very heavy on, say, like the software development tech build side, and they're not really focusing on the sales side. Or you have some of the people who are very focused on the sales and they're not really focusing on, say, the software development. And so I think that's where consulting really comes in and help them grow as leaders. I think that there are some people who just naturally are entrepreneurs, and they're gonna learn it by failings.
Greetings and a very warm welcome to our dear listeners. Today, my name is Divya along with Akansha. We are having MDIM Murshidabad exclusive conversation, which is presented by Syndekon, PR Media and Web Committee. Today we have a very special guest with us. Thank you so much for your time. We can give you an introduction.
Yeah. So ma'am is a versatile professional, serving as founder and managing partner at Oaks and Olive Consultancy. She chairs 2 ministry boards, consults globally, and is a serial entrepreneur with vast experience in boosting companies' revenue, specializing in strategy, implementation, leadership, and data analysis. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for your time. Could you please share your initial experience of coming to MDIM Murshidabad? It's definitely a very long journey, and it's extremely special for us because you're first international speaker that we're interacting with. So kindly share your experience so far at MDIM Murshidabad.
Well, it's been incredible, actually. It was the most warm welcome. I felt a little bit like a celebrity. I was met with so many people and such loving natures, and it's been really amazing.
And I can guarantee there are hundreds of people here were extremely excited before you have arrived here, and they were extremely looking forward to attending your session, and which turned out to be really great. So thank you for that. Well, this kind of conversation will not include a lot of questions. We're just having normal conversation. So we just want to know your perspective about global strategy that you talked about in your session. So could you please highlight certain issues that the global strategy managers like you and consultants like you are facing currently, so that we as future entrepreneurs can delve into it and be prepared as an MBA student to be prepared before entering the industry?
I think that global leadership and strategy is probably one of the hottest things happening right now.
Yes.
It's definitely where we're going. And we've certainly been moving towards a global corporate environment for a very long time. And as we spoke about earlier tonight, the environment as such shifted with COVID and so forth that kind of catapulted us a little faster than probably most of us were ready for. However, I think that's one of the reasons that strategy and consulting has become so important, because you do have to have that specializing and that ability to be liquid, like we talked about earlier. So if you can be liquid and help these companies fill in the gaps, then that's where we can be significant in helping companies stay thriving, and also helping kickstart new startups.
So you have been a consultant for quite some time. Can you please highlight, are the companies very reluctant to change? Because of COVID, due to the pandemic, as well as in the current going Russian war, we can see that there are a lot of companies facing issues that they were not ready for. So how difficult it is to accept these changes?
I think it is hard. I think that, you have your key stakeholders who become very conservative in these apps, right? Yeah, because that's wise for them. And that also presents a problem of stagnant into the company. So I think we are seeing that, but we're also seeing more and more startups come.
Yes.
But the problem with that is usually they're not ready. So I think someone asked a question earlier, and I spoke about this a little bit, which was, What you see though is that they're very heavy on, say, like the software development tech growth side, and they're not really focusing on the sales side. Or you have the people who are very focused on the sales and they're not really focusing on, say, the software development and so forth. So I think it's finding that balance and finding that kind of happy dance between those two. Yes, that's how you become a little more successful. And I think that's something, because many tech companies, which is where a lot of people are going, right? Tech SaaS and all those things, where not many people are ready for. They have a great idea,
yes,
but they don't know how to execute that idea well. And so I think that's where consulting really comes in and help them grow as leaders and partners and things like that.
And I totally agree to what you said about balancing and then how the problem lies in the implementation of that. So as MBA students, as we are pursuing our management degree, what do you think? What would be your advice to an MBA student who would just go out of the institute? Should he or she be opening up their own entrepreneurial venture? Or should they gain some industrial experience first and then go into entrepreneurship?
I think it's a very individualized process. I think that there are some people who just naturally are entrepreneurs, and they're gonna learn it by failings, and getting out there and just getting into the grind of it. And then there's other people who I think would do much better if they did have some experience. And I think they would build some confidence that they may need, or build maybe some other skill sets and things that are imperatives to be an entrepreneur.
Our director, so respected Dr. Atmanan, so he always focuses on self-development. And that comes along with a lot of practice, as he keeps on reiterating that it doesn't really matter how much books you read. It doesn't really matter how many classes you attend. What actually matters is real life experience. And that is the exact reason why a lot of Indian entrepreneurs are succeeding right now. We see a lot of startup boom in India, where a lot of billion-dollar companies are emerging out of this country. That is because people are not having flashy flagship degrees. It is because they're going in the real world, experiencing it, failing, and then actually moving on. So what advice do you have for students like us? I mean, there are a lot of MBA students outside MDIM Murshidabad who are actually aspiring to become entrepreneurs in their journey forward. So what advice do you have for students like us?
I think that it's finding, like I spoke about earlier, your own personal mission, vision, and core values, because that is what's, and understanding what your passion is. That's what's going to ignite you to be able to endure and sustain while you pursue, and persevering through being an entrepreneur, because it's not easy. It's not for it.
Absolutely.
But when you do know those things and you have this foundation to work upon, and then that's how you can actually use that as leverage too. And if you fail, that's okay. Yes. Failing 100 times is okay.
Yes.
It's just as long as that's teaching you something and you're growing from that, and then you use that to make something else better.
Okay. Well, lastly, the last question. Your experience in India, as you mentioned, this is the first time you're coming to this country. Are you planning to move? We are going to move to Bombay for a couple of days from now, Mumbai. Just one thing, where do you see the Indian markets going from now? Like from an international perspective, how do you see India performing in the next 5 to 10 years?
I actually feel very positive about India. I think I kind of often think that it's sort of the you guys are going to be the ones that kind of just come out and surprise people.
Okay.
Like I do. I think it's kind of like the underdog of sorts. That's not the right word, but what I mean by that is that I think not everyone is always looking towards India.
Yes.
But I think you guys are going to surprise people.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have many people on my team that I can see where they're going, and I can see the talent and so forth. And so I think that India definitely got its own
Yes.
Like-
And you're talking about the potential.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Bezos himself mentioned that 21st century is going to be India's century.
Yeah.
So for me as an Indian and for us, I think this country has a lot of potential and we want to be a part of this group.
What I would encourage, though, just from my experiences, is that you really look within yourselves to find what your passion is. Not necessarily what always has been the train that you kind of like the path that's been laid before you. Those are all great. But taking that knowledge and that foundation and then building upon that for what's truly who you are and your own gifts and talents and your own passions, find that so that you can really like use that as your pivoting, into the world. True.
Speaking about the potential of the students of this country have, what was your experience with the students of this institute? How ready are they for the industry out there?
Well, you guys are the most servitude-minded people I've ever met in my entire life, and it is consistent throughout this entire campus. So I would say that you guys you're hungry, you're energetic, you're happy, you are, you're teachable, you're open, and those are all qualities that you must have.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter where you land, like how high you get, you should always still be that person.
Totally agree with you. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, Sharie. I mean, it was great to have you. We would really love to host you again if you want to ever make a plan of coming to India.
So I would like to thank Neeti for organizing this and bringing you here so that we could have this interaction, gain these insights from your experience. Thank you very much for interacting.
It's truly been, thank you.
It has been an honor for us.